A word is enough for the wise. Fellow citizens, since Friday, October 31, 2025, our country has found itself in the center of an unfolding storm. It began with the announcement by President Donald Trump of the United States, redesignating Nigeria as a country of particular concern. When I first heard CPC, I thought it was a party that we killed to form APC. It was CPC. Nigeria became a country of particular concern over allegations of a government-oriented killing of Christians. The US president's subsequent threat to come into our country, guns are blazing, to undertake what he described as a fast, vicious, and swift attack on terrorists, has jolted a hitherto sleeping giant into sudden frenzy. Within the same period, the existential dangers that once lurked beneath the surface of our national life are now breaking through, demanding urgent attention, even as terrorists intensify their threats and attacks against the Nigerian state. From the ambush of troops of the 25 Task Force Brigade in Borno State by the Islamic State of West Africa Province, ISWAP, in which Brigade Commander M. Uba and 3 others were killed, to the attack on Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School in Maga, Kebbi State, in which dozens of schoolgirls were abducted and the vice principal killed, to the attacks on Christ Apostolic Church, Eriku, Ekiti local government area in Kwara State, in which dozens of worshippers were kidnapped, to the kidnapping of hundreds of students from St. Mary's Catholic School in Papiri Town, Niger State, all in the space of 1 week. The level of insecurity seems to have worsened in response to this global focus on Nigeria as terrorists and bandits brazenly dare the Nigerian state. While we rejoice at the release of some of the kidnapped victims, including the Kebbi school girls and the Kwara church worshippers, as well as the escape of some of the pupils kidnapped in Papiri, Niger State, the secrecy-shrouded circumstances of their release leave more questions than answers. Who ordered the withdrawal of the military from the Kebbi school about 45 minutes before the attack? What agreements were negotiated with the bandits? And what concessions were made to secure the release of the abductees? The continuing attacks on communities further underscore the need for fundamental interventions that go to the very essence of our nationhood and the quality of governance in both domestic and foreign policy contexts. Fellow citizens, in these past weeks, our beloved country, Nigeria, has endured its most humiliating international public image since the Abacha era. Years of leadership failure to confront our nation's underlying crisis finally came to a head as the deteriorating state of our country drew the most despicable language ever used by a world leader to describe Africa's largest nation, with President Trump referring to Nigeria as a now disgraced country. The sudden intense flurry of activity from the Nigerian government following Donald Trump's threat only betrays the fact that before now, Nigerian leaders had buried their heads in the sand like ostriches, preoccupied with the politics of chaos and paying little attention to the real work of governance, until Donald Trump's insults jolted the sleeping giant. Nigeria's political class have been dancing on a hot stove like the experimental frog that slowly boil to death as the heat rises. They have numbed themselves to the painful realities that ordinary citizens endure daily. It is a stain on the Nigerian government that it took the threat of external intervention to rouse leaders to their responsibilities. It's a shame on our National Assembly that it took the United States Congress, not the representatives elected by Nigerians, to convene a hearing on the lived experiences of citizens suffering under insecurity, while those in Abuja were busy with politicking, posturing for political relevance, defecting from one political party to another in their desperate maneuvers to secure their seats ahead of the 2027 elections. It's indeed a shame that Nigeria's foreign affairs architecture failed all the while to mobilize Nigeria's dwindling diplomatic goodwill to secure international support for the war on terror, only to respond with excuses when that goodwill reached its lowest ebb.